Not long ago, Avenged Sevenfold announced that they were going to release a new album after 7 long years. They released their first single called Nobody, and my first impression was that it was weird. Then they released a second single called We Love You, and I thought it was weird. Now the album is out, and I think the entire album is weird. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Maybe it will change in a few months, but now let me give you my review based on my first impressions. There's a lot going on with this album. I might not understand it, but there's a lot to unpack. Life is But a Dream is the 8th studio album by Avenged Sevenfold, released on June 2nd, 2023 through Warner Records. Their first album in nearly 7 years, a follow-up to The Stage from 2016. So this album was produced by Joe Barresi and Avenged Sevenfold in Los Angeles and mixed by Andy Wallace in Poconos, Pennsylvania. So the album was inspired by the writing and philosophy of Albert Camus, and the band that released 2 singles from the album so far, Nobody and We Love You. Albert Camus was a French novelist, essayist, playwright, philosopher, and journalist born in Algeria in 1913. He is considered one of the most influential figures of existentialism and absurdism, 2 philosophical movements that explore the meaning and purpose of human existence. He did a lot more stuff, and he died at the age of 46. So let's get into the album now. The first single they released was called Nobody, and they released it. I thought it was weird. I said that already. But it's about a person realizing they're not just a human being, but a God who transcends all limitations and boundaries. So the song explores themes of identity, freedom, power, and enlightenment. And the music video was pretty cool. It had the stop motion and, like the puppets and all that kind of like weird stuff. For me, it was like post-metal, but to be honest with you, it actually kind of grew on me after a while. And then We Love You was the second single. And these are tracks like 3 and 4 on the album. I'm not going to like go over them again when I talk about the album. But this one, again, I thought it was very weird. It had the music video was pretty cool. It was like this 360 virtual reality music video. And it's about like this giant machine feeding on people's energy. It was kind of strange. I thought there was one part where cheesy, where they got like the more power, more money. That was cheesy, but I did like the end of it with the acoustic guitars. I thought it was kind of like Pink Floyd, but I think I like that song less than Nobody. But I don't know, let's get into what the critics think. So according to Kerrang and loudersound.com, they pretty much liked the album. They said they praised it for boldness, creativity, diversity, and fun. Some critics described it as a psycho-metal musical, a sublimely batshit masterpiece. I agree with the first 2 words of that description. A career-defining statement and a benchmark for modern metal. That's what they're saying. I don't really get it, but I'll get into that in more detail later. So now for the fun part of this video, talking about the songs. I'm not going to mention 2 singles, but the other ones. So the first song called Game Over. This is about feeling out of place, wanting to escape from reality. So the song sounds a lot like System of a Down, but M Shadow's trying to sing like Serge Tankian, or however you say his name. There's some parts that reminded me of like classic Avenged Sevenfold, and others that were kind of like the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's, with some theatrical sections that in the end it came off as like an emo band. Then the song Mattel. This is about shallowness and superficiality of modern life and consumerism. It's a heavy song. It starts off like heavy, like thrash metal. Some theatrical parts, other parts with strange melodies. They go back and forth between the heavy parts and the different melodies. Also parts where like Imp Shadows, at one point he's singing like Freddie Mercury, then he'll go straight to like death growls, and then these like science fiction style like keyboard like melodies. And the song closes with some jazz piano and an industrial beat, if that kind of makes any sense. And the next song to talk about is Cosmic. This is a song about wonder and mystery of the universe and where is our place in it. So it's a 7-minute song. Starts off like an acoustic ballad. It starts to pick up after 2 minutes. So I think so far, like this is the first song on the album that kind of seems somewhat normal. Sinister Gates has these like neoclassical solos. Then they go into this like piano part, which kind of reminds me of something like either November Rain or Layla, like that part. And then 3 minutes into the song, M Shadow starts to sing, and then they start doing like weird stuff at this point. They do the singing with auto-tune, and then he kind of like, it's like the auto-tune where like turn it all the way up and he kind of sounds like an alien. I thought it was normal, but it's not. Then Beautiful Morning. This the meaning of the song is finding beauty and hope in a dark and chaotic world. That's what I got from the web, at least. The song sounds like Alice in Chains, specifically the song Them Bones from the album Dirt. They're really going for that Alice in Chains sound on this, but later it gets very atmospheric. They do some like Beatles harmonies and choir singing and organ playing, and then the song gets heavy again. So that's definitely like going for like this grunge sound. Then the song Easier, I think at this point the album gets like really weird. So the meaning of this song is struggle and pain of living in a fast-paced and competitive society. Again, that's what I got online. So M Shadow starts singing in auto-tune in this one, and then they do those like post-metal guitar riffs similar to Nobody. The vocals are distorted at one point, and it kind of like sounds like Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots, and then they do some more alternative guitar riffs. And then they do some like funky guitar playing, kind of reminded me of like the Red Hot Chili Peppers with that distinct like clean guitar tone. So that was kind of weird. Now the next 3 songs, like the first one's called G, and then Ordinary with the O in parentheses, and then D in parentheses for death, where if you look at them like going all the way down, it says like G-O-D. So I'm guessing it's a 3-part song. So the song G, this sounds like prog rock. It sounds like Yes or King Crimson. The vocals are like crooning style. They do funky rhythms. There's female vocals. Here's where they start to sound like the Red Hot Chili Peppers again. There's some rapping. There's some female singers in there. They kind of do that singing, kind of like that Pink Floyd Great Gig in the Sky type of singing. So that's really weird. And Ordinary is part 2 about the monotony and meaninglessness of everyday life. Another like funky song with auto-tune. It's more like auto-tune singing, and they close it out with like the sound of like this engine, and like I was listening to it with headphones, and it kind of like was very kind of like uncomfortable like listening to it. And then the last song of this trilogy is Death. And this song is very like theatrical. It's a show tune, like orchestration, soft singing, and M Shadows doing these high notes. So it's very theatrical. The album ends with a title track called Life is But a Dream. And it is just a 4-minute piano solo. And that's like what it is. I have nothing else to say about it. It's a 4-minute piano, or 4.5 minutes, or whatever it is. So that is all. Let me go to my final thoughts. That is all. I don't know, it's like it could be a masterpiece like down like many years like later. People are gonna like think back at this album and say it's like the greatest thing, but for me right now it just seems it's weird. I keep using that word weird, like it's like I don't get it. Like they're doing all these like different like styles and stuff, but it seems like they're like taking these like random like genres or musical genres and like copy pasting these different styles into different songs. And I get like the whole concept of like the existentialism and meaning of life and the universe and all that stuff, but as an album it doesn't really seem like cohesive. Like I don't think it's something that you listen to front to back and is like, it feels like a great album. So my score is not going to be very high. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for now, but I don't know, maybe it might be the kind of album that takes a long time to grow on you. But that's my score. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a like. It helps me with the algorithm. Please comment. Let me know what you think. I always respond to comments, so I'll be reading everything. And subscribe. And I did a ranking of Avenged Sevenfold, like when I first started my channel. It's like really like bad quality. You could tell like I was uncomfortable with the camera, but I'm gonna stick it here anyway. If you're interested, I'm gonna do a new one, with Life is But a Dream. But anyway, that is all. See you in the next one.